So now we're on step 2 of the solve one side of the Rubik's Cube ladder, and where we left off last time was with 3 pieces. And what's special about reaching 3 pieces is that it's very possible that by the time you get to 3 pieces, you'll no longer have any degrees of freedom, so this technique that you've been using is no longer going to be effective. Now, one way that we could improve this so that we could get to even more pieces without doing anything really fancy is we can look at some of the other possibilities that might have come up. So, for example, we might have had something like this, where the 3 pieces were all next to each other, and this is actually much better because by concentrating these pieces, I'm able to move this one freely. So, for example, here's a piece that I could move into place to get my 4th piece. But then, again, once I turn that piece up, I'll have lost all of my degrees of freedom. I can't turn anything now without having to interrupt something that was already there. Another possibility might be that a piece would be like this. So you get your 3 pieces in the corner. That's even better because by concentrating it this way, I have 2 degrees of freedom now. So I actually can move 2 additional pieces in, no problem. So for example, there's a piece right here that I could just pull up directly. And as I rotate this around, I still have 1 more degree of freedom. I haven't closed myself off yet. And I can see that that edge piece is right there, and I can pull that up. And by the time I get to 5 pieces, I will almost certainly have reduced all of my degrees of freedom. There is one circumstance, you can imagine if this was white, that I would still be able to turn this one. So it is possible to get to 6 by still just making direct moves, no pre-planning. But in terms of getting to 5 steps, this is getting to 5. This is where I would expect to see in students that they're pre-planning by beginning to assemble pieces before they send them up. So for example, if you look at these 2 pieces, here's my white where I want to bring these, I could see that I could turn this piece like this to match up with this other edge piece before I finally turn it up. And by doing that, that's going to have the effect of concentrating the pieces more because I'll have more pieces that are next to each other. And it's going to help me to maintain my degrees of freedom so I can make sure that I can get to that 5th piece and reach level 2. And then in addition to doing that as a demonstration, you'd also have to be able to explain how the concentration of the pieces helps improve solving this side because it leaves open degrees of freedom for you to continue bringing additional pieces up.